Most say the cure for love is time. Others say space. For me, it was something no one could have predicted. A rainy night, a black dress, and a moment that changed everything. The best cure was becoming her. This isn't the story you might expect. It's not about heartbreak or moving on. It's about discovery, acceptance, and how sometimes the most unexpected journey can lead you to the deepest connection you've ever known. My name is Thomas, and this is the story of how a playful moment changed everything I thought I knew about love, identity, and myself. Laura and I had been together for 2 years. We were comfortable, happy even, but like many couples, we'd fallen into that familiar rhythm where days blend together and conversations become predictable. We loved each other, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing, not from our relationship, but from within myself. Laura worked as a graphic designer, and I was in marketing. We had our routines, our favorite restaurants, our weekend Netflix binges. From the outside, we looked like any other couple in their late 20s, navigating life together. But Laura had always been different from other women I'd dated. She was more open-minded, more curious about the world and the people in it. She read voraciously, consumed documentaries about subcultures I'd never heard of, and had this way of seeing beauty in places others might overlook. I admired that about her, but I didn't fully understand it yet. It started with small things I began to notice. Laura had this fascination with people who dared to express themselves differently. She'd stay up late, completely absorbed in documentaries about gender and self-expression, her eyes fixed on the screen with a kind of wonder I couldn't quite explain. One evening, while we were watching a movie with a cross-dressing character, I noticed how she leaned forward, her face glowing with admiration. Curious, I asked what she found so captivating. She smiled softly and said, "I think there's something beautiful about people who aren't afraid to explore all sides of themselves." At the time, I thought it was just Laura being Laura, always the champion of authenticity and self-expression. I didn't realize then that her curiosity was about to become my new reality. Moment that changed everything happened on a rainy Thursday evening in October. We'd been cooped up in her apartment all day, and the kind of restless energy that comes from too much time indoors had settled over us. Laura was trying on different outfits for a work event the next day, tossing rejected dresses onto the bed. I was sprawled on her couch, pretending to work on my laptop but really just watching her move around her bedroom. "What about this one?" she called out, emerging in a flowing black dress that made her look effortlessly elegant. "Beautiful," I said, meaning it. "You always look beautiful." She rolled her eyes playfully. "You say that about everything." "Because it's true." That's when I got that mischievous look which always precede an adventurous idea. All I wanted was to spark up the boring moment. "You know," I said, walking towards her, "I bet I'd look good in those dresses." I laughed, with spark of curiosity all over me. "No, I'm serious." She was studying me with that curious expression again. "We're about the same height. Come on, just for fun." The reasonable part of my brain wanted to deflect with humor and change the subject. But something about the genuine interest in her voice, the way she was looking at me like I was a puzzle she was eager to solve, made me pause. "You're actually serious?" "Dead serious. Come on, Thomas, live a little." I thought it would just be a silly game. I had no idea it would awaken something I couldn't ignore, so I did. I stood up, took the dress from her hands, and disappeared into her bathroom. As I slipped it over my head and felt the fabric settle around my body, something unexpected happened. Instead of feeling ridiculous, I felt curious. The dress fit surprisingly well, and when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a man in women's clothing. I saw someone new entirely. When I emerged from the bathroom, I was prepared for laughter, maybe some teasing. What I wasn't prepared for was the look on Laura's face. Her eyes widened and she brought her hand to her mouth, not in shock or amusement, but in what looked like genuine admiration. "Oh my God, Thomas," she whispered. "You look, wow." I've always loved this. The way she said it made my heart race. There was no mockery in her voice, no hint that this was just a silly game anymore. She was looking at me the way she looked at those drag performers she admired online, with respect, fascination, and something that felt like pride. "Really?" I asked, suddenly feeling self-conscious, but not in the way I expected. "Really? Come here, let me—" She trailed off, disappearing into her bathroom and returning with her makeup bag. "Can I try something?" I should have said no. The rational part of me knew this was venturing into territory I'd never explored. But the way Laura was looking at me, with such genuine excitement and care, made me nod. She worked carefully, applying just a touch of foundation, some eyeliner, a hint of lipstick. Her hands were gentle, and she was so focused, so invested in what she was doing. I found myself studying her face as she worked, seeing a side of her I'd never witnessed before. When she finished, she stepped back and smiled. Not the polite smile you give someone when they've done something amusing, but the kind of smile that reaches your eyes and suggests genuine happiness. "Look," she said, guiding me toward her full-length mirror. I looked astonishing, and for the first time, I didn't hate what I saw. But more surprisingly, I didn't dislike what I saw. The features were still mine, but softer, enhanced, foreign, and somehow right. What would you do if your partner asked you to try something completely unexpected? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What happened next changed everything I thought I knew about myself. Standing there in Laura's dress, with her careful touch of makeup highlighting features I'd never paid attention to, I felt something I'd never experienced before. A spark, a sense of belonging. It wasn't embarrassment or confusion, though I'd expected both. It was a sense of completion. For the first time in my life, I felt beautiful. Not handsome, not attractive in the way I'd understood masculinity, but genuinely beautiful. The person staring back at me looked confident, graceful, alive in a way that surprised me. Laura came to stand behind me, her reflection joining mine in the mirror. She wrapped her arms around my waist and rested her chin on my shoulder. "How do you feel?" she asked quietly. I searched for the right words. "I feel like myself, but more." "Does that make sense?" She squeezed me tighter. "Perfect sense." "I don't understand what's happening," I admitted. "I never thought about this. Any of this." "You don't have to understand it right away," Laura said. "Sometimes the best discoveries happen when we're not looking for them." I turned in her arms to face her directly. "Is this what you were waiting for? All those times you talked about people expressing themselves differently?" She considered this carefully. I wasn't waiting for anything specific, but I think I always sense of exploration. And maybe I was hoping you'd feel safe enough with me to explore that. That night, I didn't change back into my clothes for hours. We ordered takeout, watched a movie, talked about everything and nothing. And for the entire evening, I felt more present, more connected to Laura and to myself than I had in months. That night, I thought it was a one-time thing, but I was wrong. It was only the beginning. What started as a single evening of exploration became a regular part of our relationship. Laura helped me find clothes that fit properly, taught me about makeup, showed me how to walk in heels without looking like a newborn deer. But it wasn't just about the external transformation. Every time I embraced this side of myself, I discovered new layers of who I could be. I found myself more expressive, more emotionally available, more willing to be vulnerable. Laura admitted that she'd always been drawn to people who challenged conventional boundaries. There's something incredibly attractive about someone who's brave enough to explore all aspects of themselves. She told me one evening as she helped me with a particularly challenging eyeliner technique. "I never thought of it as brave," I said. "That's what makes it even more beautiful." Have you ever discovered a side of yourself you didn't know existed and loved it? Let us know in the comments section. Our relationship deepened in ways I couldn't have imagined. Conversations became more intimate. We shared thoughts and feelings we'd never voiced before. I found myself engraved during movies, laughing more freely, engaging with emotions I'd been taught to suppress. Laura said I seemed more alive, more present, and she was right. I felt like I'd been living in black and white and suddenly discovered color. The woman I became wasn't separate from Thomas. She was Thomas, just expressed differently. She was more intuitive, more emotionally intelligent, more connected to beauty and grace. She was everything I'd never allowed myself to be. Our love transformed completely. Intimacy took on new dimensions as I learned to be vulnerable in ways I'd never accessed before. We communicated more openly, trusted more deeply, laughed more freely. Laura told me that being with me as I explored this side of myself made her feel like she was discovering new aspects of love itself. "It's like I fell in love with you all over again," she said, "but this time with all of you." I realized that becoming her wasn't about losing myself or trying to be someone else. It was about finding parts of myself that had always existed but had never been invited to the surface. It was about integration, wholeness, and the courage to be authentically multifaceted. We seemed happier, more connected, more genuinely ourselves. Laura and I had found something rare, a love that encouraged growth rather than requiring conformity. We learned that real love isn't about accepting someone despite their complexities. It's about celebrating them because of those complexities. And that's when I realized becoming her wasn't about change, it was about becoming whole. They say the best cure for heartbreak is moving on, finding someone new, or letting time heal all wounds. But for Laura and me, the best cure wasn't healing from love. It was discovering how much deeper love could go. In learning to embrace all aspects of myself, I didn't just find a new way to express my identity. I found a new way to love and be loved. Laura didn't just accept this journey. She championed it, nurtured it, and grew alongside it. Today, whether I'm Thomas in a business suit or the woman who emerges when I slip into a dress and lipstick, I'm completely, authentically myself. And Laura loves both versions because she understands they're not different people. They're different expressions of the same soul. The most beautiful relationships aren't built on finding someone who fits perfectly into your existing life. They're built on finding someone who inspires you to become more than you ever thought possible. Sometimes the greatest discoveries happen not when we're searching for something, but when we're brave enough to explore what's already within us. Have you ever discovered a side of yourself that brought you closer to someone you love? If this story resonated, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more stories like this. Remember, the best version of yourself might be one you haven't met yet. The end.
The Gender Diary exists to light that path with shared stories. Whether you found connection in this narrative, you're on your own journey of gender exploration, or you're here seeking understanding, your subscription fuels our mission. Every subscriber empowers us to keep illuminating these authentic experiences for our community. Kindly drop a comment below. Your voice adds to the tapestry of experiences that makes this space meaningful. Until our next story unfolds.